PlayStation Access are in a confessional mood as they reveal their darkest gaming deeds to discover which member of the team has led the naughtiest gaming life. Prepare for some shocking revelations in today's PlayStation Access podcast.
Hello and welcome to the PlayStation Access podcast, the official podcast of PlayStation UK. I am your host, Rob Pearson. Joining us today, we have Amy Mallet.
Hello.
Rosie Caddick.
Hello.
And Alex Young.
Hello, everybody.
And today, we're talking about sins. Bad behaviour. Bad things.
Despicable.
That we've all done in games, but maybe also around games as well. Everybody is going to bring with them 2 examples of their absolute worst gaming behaviour. And then we're all going to score how bad these stories are out of 10. So everybody who is not telling a story gets to rate everyone else's story out of 10. And at the end, we'll add up the scores to discover what the ultimate despicable act is.
Who's the worst of us?
God, I didn't realise there was going to be a competition involved with this.
Well, it's not really a competition. And you really, I think, Rosie, you want to lose it, right?
Yeah, you don't wanna
You
win.
don't want to be the most despicable person on PlayStation Access.
No.
I do.
Rosie doesn't do it.
I've got a reputation.
He's had the trophies made. I
I've
saw
got
it
a
the other day.
reputation to uphold. But I think, we will... Well, let's kick things off. Let's kick things off with you, Alex.
Oh, no. Me.
Because we've not heard... I've done lots of anecdotes on Tuesday checklists and whatnot, and I think both of my stories are going to be stories that have appeared on the channel before.
Right.
But I'm intrigued to hear from you and Amy especially what your bad things are, because I don't feel like I know, apart from the fact that you've got loads of platinum trophies, Alex, I don't feel like I know too much about your secret gaming habits.
Well, it's interesting. Both of the stories that I'm going to be sharing today revolve around platinum trophies and how I've come
Obviously.
to acquire them.
Very on brand.
I am of the opinion that you should do whatever it takes, by any means, whatever it takes to get that platinum trophy. The first story is quite bad because I ended up treating one of my best mates quite poorly. Let me get into it, okay, before you start judging. Me and a friend have been friends for many, many years. We decided we would start finding time once a week to play co-op games together. We played through Resident Evil 5 together and had a real blast with it, but we thought it would be fun to work on a platinum together. And I had It Takes Two in my backlog. It was just sat there. I'd heard so much about this incredible co-op experience, and I was like, this is perfect. The trophy list seems pretty doable as long as we keep an eye out for the mini games as we play through. We'll be able to get all of those. So yeah, we started playing It Takes Two. A few weeks went by and we finished the game, but we'd accidentally missed a mini game at the very end. It's like there's like a volleyball game, I think, that you play in the clouds. Now, the problem here is that I had also started playing Elden Ring. Elden Ring had come out a few weeks beforehand, and I think I'd put about 80 hours into it over the course of a couple of weeks. And I'd got my Elden Ring save at a point where the platinum, I could hop in, I had one ending remaining, hop in, pop the platinum, job's a good one. Now, I was desperate for Elden Ring to be my 100th platinum, and I was sat on 98 platinums. So I'm thinking It Takes Two is ready. It's right there. So is Elden Ring. But how can I quickly get I can't wait until later in the week for our next co-op session to get this final trophy for It Takes Two. So I was just so excited. I was desperate to get this Elden Ring. 100th platinum. That's a big deal.
And you want it to be something like Elden Ring as well. You want it to be a,
Huge thing.
In my haste, I grabbed my wife and said, listen, and now Deb, my beautiful, patient wife, she isn't much of a gamer. She loves watching games. She enjoyed watching me play through The Last of Us, and we play a bit of Overcooked sometimes, although we end up bickering.
It's the bickering simulator. That's to be expected.
Exactly.
Yep.
And I sat her down and said, all we need to do is play through this little section of It Takes Two, a little tricky platforming section, and then we'll find the minigame, and your job is done. The platinum will pop, and then I can hop into Elden Ring and get that 100th shiny, which I'm desperate for.
I imagine you're getting itchy at this point, aren't you?
Now, the problem is, Deb, as I say, she doesn't play games very often, and this platforming section required quite a lot of coordination between Cody and May, the two characters you control. There's a section where sound waves are being blasted out of this huge instrument at the back of this hall, and Cody has a shield that he has to use to protect the two players so they can advance forwards. That sounds simple enough. It's like, Deb, you just stay behind me. Don't just follow my commands. Don't do anything. Don't do anything crazy. Just stay near me. The problem is there's little sections where you have to jump over gaps, and this caused chaos because Deb had to push the stick forward and press the jump button at the right time. Some of the timing's very precise,
which for someone who's not a gamer requires muscle memory and dexterity that you don't always have well practiced. Shall we say?
Exactly,
right?
It's quite an advanced skill, really. It's something we probably take for granted. Really,
it is
that level of coordination. Anyway, the next half hour or so is just a lot of arguing and bickering. To me, it's I was like, just press the jump button, just do it when I tell you to do it. We got through it. We got the platinum. It was a great feeling, and then I finally got to quickly hop over to Elden Ring and get that platinum. Now, I think it's bad when I look back because I really should have finished the game with my friend. The idea was that we were going to get the platinum together, but I ditched him because I just wanted to get the Elden Ring platinum.
The last minute as well, the 11th hour.
I know.
You kicked him over moments from the finish line as well.
And then I basically shouted at my pregnant wife for about half an hour, trying to get her to play an incredibly difficult part of It Takes Two. So yeah, I look back and do I feel bad? No, I don't feel bad.
I mean, you've earned an extra 2 points from me just for saying I shouted at my pregnant wife.
Yeah, I think
you left that detail out at the start.
That
Glossed
is
over that.
the main despicable part of your story, I think, Alex. And if I was Deb, I would just be like, no, I'm not playing that game.
Yeah.
Wait, you can wait until your designated co-op day with your friend. No. I've got better things to do.
I thought you were going to say you're going to wait until the baby's born now.
Yeah, absolutely. How far away was the designated co-op day? How long did you need to wait?
I think it was probably only a few days. I can't really remember.
So it wasn't even like you went on holiday.
But I think I'd made
something for a month.
I'd made quite a lot of progress quite quickly in Elden Ring. I felt like, this is fine. This will be something we can visit in another week's time, and we'll look at it. But I think I don't know. My build, I think I managed to sort of quite quickly get through the sort of end game. Yeah. And I was like, the save was just ready. I just couldn't resist. 100th platinum, Elden Ring.
It's very arbitrary, though, isn't it, Alex? Like, there was nothing really stopping you from just doing Elden Ring as your 99th platinum.
No.
Yeah. You could have had a fun co-op experience as your 100th. The memories with your friend would have been the special 100th platinum.
No one else cares, Alex.
No
one's like, you got it as your 100th platinum. Wow, that's even more special.
I care. And I wanted Elden Ring to be my 100th platinum. So, maybe when you guys reach the 100 club, you can you'll know what it's like.
I think it's cheap.
Personally, I'm giving this an 8 out of 10 for despicability. Yeah.
That's a big number.
It is. Yeah. I think that you've got multiple things going on here. You didn't need to do it, for one. Second, your poor wife who didn't want to play.
Yeah.
And third, your poor friend.
Yeah.
Did they get the platinum in the end?
Well, we were just playing on my account.
Oh, so they didn't even have any of the
It was purely just to play together.
Yeah, that is actually really bad. Think of the lives you've ruined.
That's when Rob changed it to...
He doesn't care.
There are 3 people wronged in this. Your mate, your unborn child, and your wife.
Whoa.
I'm sorry, but no, all 3 of them would have had to put up with you going, for God's sake!
Amy, out of 10 for despicability.
I think I'm going to go 7, only because I think Alex has got worse up his sleeve.
So you're leaving
I'm saving
runway.
a bit of space, yeah.
Rosie, how about you? Out of 10?
I was thinking an 8 as well, but you are right with the 7 argument. So now I'm like,
I reserve the right to change mine to an 8 later if the story's not as bad.
No, we can't change him.
We can't change him.
I'll go 7. I'll stick with 7.
I'm going to say 8. I'm going to stick with an 8.
I think that's fair. I do think that's
outrageous.
Fair. It's a lot
I'm looking forward to your next story, though.
So that gives, for story 1, Alex has got a despicability ranking of 23 points.
That's quite a lot.
Out of 30, which is quite despicable, isn't it?
It's a bit like crazy golf, isn't it? You want less. You don't want to go that high so early.
Amy, we're going to come to you now.
I love how Rob really wants like Amy and Alex's stories. Like, give me something new.
I've heard all of yours, Rosie, and you've heard all of mine.
Fresh meat.
I want the
despicable meat,
the juicy, nasty stories, please, Amy. What have you got?
So I've got of my 2 stories. This is the despicable one. I think my other gaming sin is more of just a kind of embarrassing, cheesy one that I'm like, oh, I can't believe I did that. I stooped that low. But the first one is kind of despicable, and it revolves around me and my best friend Dan being very good at Overcooked. And when I say me and Dan are very good at Overcooked, I don't just mean we've got 3 stars on like the levels. I mean, we could go to esports level. I genuinely think, and we've got a fun pasta-based name if we ever did.
Ooh.
The Penne Pinchers.
Ooh.
That's what we're going to go to the big leagues as the Penne Pinchers.
I like it.
We are so good at Overcooked.
Penne was the word on Wordle the other day. Just absolute nonsense. Anyway, sorry, Amy. I just remembered that.
Did you not get it?
I did get it. I was like, that's ridiculous.
I saw the trigger in him.
You can't just have a type of pasta on Wordle. Anyway, sorry, Amy, continue.
No, it's good. I wanted to let you get that aggression out for Wordle.
Yeah.
So the Penne Pinchers, we genuinely, we were destined for the big leagues, me and Dan. We were so good at Overcooked. Honestly, it's not even funny. And we got the platinum, obviously, and then we would start going online and playing some games online. And it very quickly became apparent that we were better as a team. I don't know what it is about. I mean, me and Dan have known each other for like 16 years, so maybe it's kind of like a hive mind that you only really develop with long-term friendship. But we just had an instinctual thing for knowing when to pass stuff, when to chop stuff, when to designate different roles. We were a well-oiled machine in Overcooked. And when we went online for the first time, it became apparent that we were pretty good, if I haven't mentioned that already. And everybody else was getting their butt kicked. And there was one level where there's a conveyor belt in the middle of the level, and then both the sort of kitchens. So we're playing with 2 other people online. We're competing against them. Their kitchen was on the top, our kitchen was on the bottom, and there was a conveyor belt in between separating us where the ingredients were coming out of. But obviously the ingredients are serving both kitchens. You have to grab quick to make sure that you can like do everything. Now, I don't know if I was playing with like my mum without realising that was the opponent, but whoever it was wasn't that great at Overcooked, and they were taking their time in the kitchen. I mean, they're possibly 2 strangers that have been paired together online for a match. They don't know each other. They don't have me and Dan's synchronicity. So they did kind of suck, and we were wiping the floor with them. We then decided to have a bit of fun, and we thought rather than just beat them really badly at Overcooked, we should probably just mess with them a little bit as well. So obviously we're stealing their pasta, we're stealing their ingredients, we're making it for ourselves. But then we got to the point where our kitchen was running great and we'd got all these things cooking and we got a bit of time to kill. So we started going into their kitchen and stealing their stuff. We didn't need it. We just thought it'd be funny to keep it in our kitchen and watch them struggle because they didn't have a tomato or they didn't have an onion or they didn't have a whatever. And we were watching this unfold and you could see the little tiny characters like spinning in circles in rage. Like, why are these people... This isn't part of the game. You're not meant to sabotage the other person. You're meant to cook. Anyway.
Sounds like what I do in Overcooked. Spin round. Fast and angry. Yeah. I can feel their pain.
We then invented a game where we would steal their stuff, but not just for our gain. We just throw it in the sea.
Wow.
Okay, that one's worse.
So we would take
And they could see you doing this, presumably.
So not only are they up against 2 people who are like banging the orders out, banging the dishes out, but every now and again, one of them goes into their kitchen, takes their pasta, hurls it in the water for no reason other than to be a jerk, basically. And then we got the fire extinguisher and we just like went in their kitchen and threw loads of foam all over them. We invented another game where the objective was one of us had to keep boosting with the circle button to knock them in the water. Eventually they quit. Yeah. And as you can imagine, they didn't come back. And then we thought, okay, well, let's do it again with another team online. But obviously we didn't want to be full on, awful straight away because then they'd know and they'd quit. So we had to like build up to them thinking that we were playing like a normal competitive game of Overcooked online before we started going and stealing their stuff, throwing it in the sea and messing up their kitchen.
You're actively going out to sabotage other team Overcooked players.
There was one guy, his mate quit. And it was just him left. So literally, when you drop out, your teammate stays in the game. And it's one guy. I remember his face. He was a mouse. He was the mouse character, the mouse chef, and he was running around like Ratatouille. And he was just like, he actually froze, and he was just watching us toss his pasta in the sea.
Aww.
Like, what is going on? This isn't part of the game. And I'm not a bully at all. I've never been that person on. Rob's probably got way more despicable stories, but yeah, I
don't
feel
know,
sorry.
Amy.
That's bad.
I don't know.
For messing
It's a
with
stressful enough game as it is.
Yeah.
Overcooked. That's going out of your way to make
It's
other
like-
Make it
people's
harder.
lives even
Yeah.
more difficult.
It's like when you come up against someone in FC and they're much better than you and they start toying with you. It reminds me, have you seen the wildlife documentaries where the orca, they catch the seal,
and they
don't
play with
kill
it.
it straight
Toy
away.
with it.
They start throwing it around.
Oh, horrible.
That's you.
We were the orca and they were the
Yes.
seals. It was very much a
Rosie
torturous
can't even speak.
experiment.
Look
No,
at
she's
Rosie. She's
You
looking
made
at
me think
you.
of the poor seal. I was like, this is why, like, when it comes to nature documentaries, I love watching them. But as soon as something comes,
I
like,
can't
you know,
watch it. I can't watch them.
can't-
about
and
I
also
can't watch
about
them.
being feeding or something, my
Yeah.
boyfriend will literally be like, "Oh, you might want to turn away for this bit," and I'm just like, "No, I'm just picturing the seals."
And seals are my favourite animals. They're basically mermaid dogs. Who
I
doesn't
love
want
them.
that?
So that's why I was more shocked by like the seal story, and then relating that to Amy, I was like, "Oh
That's
my
what
god!"
Amy's done now. Yeah, I think this is quite despicable.
I think so. The nature of the game.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
I was
We stooped
probably-
very low.
There's probably other people just trying to have a nice time on Overcooked.
yeah.
Yeah.
And they've had their day ruined, Amy.
Yeah, they needed that onion, and then as us, not even the insult of stealing it, but also throwing it in the sea so no one can have it.
That's
I think
despicable.
that's.
Yeah, sorry.
I'll say I was thinking a 6 because like there are multiple people who then we always play games and there are trolls and stuff like that. But I think because you purposefully threw it in the sea, like I don't think I've played a game. Yes, I've had it with trolls and they take the items, but you visibly were like, not only are we taking them, but putting it that way. I think that pushes it to a 7.
We don't even need it.
I think you didn't even need it. I think for me that's what pushes it from being a troll to just being a jerk.
That's what I think is funny is the fact that I'm like, spaghetti's cooking, mate. We
You
don't
going-
even need this tomato.
7 for
I'm
that
gonna-
one.
I'm gonna say a 7.
7 from Rosie.
I'm gonna say 7.
Okay, Alex, how about you?
Yeah, this is bad, I think. As I say, it's a tough game. People, they might just be trying to learn how to play online with friends, and you're ruining their experience. I don't know, though. I think I'm going to go with a 6 for this one.
Okay.
It's my
Fair.
Interesting.
rating.
I thought it was a bit more despicable than that. I was going to go with an 8.
The
I think,
same-
I think Alex just wants to win. He's that competitive.
He wants to win.
That he
wants
just
to
doesn't
be
want to
the
give me
most
any more
despicable.
points.
I think both of your stories so far have been equally despicable. But Amy, in total, I've got to do maths now. That's 21 points. 21
Hey!
points.
If
for
you
that-
ever need us to do a bit of
that
elevator
story.
music for you while you're doing the
I love it. It's like a dance announcer. Like, when they add up the scores in darts, they just go like,
180.
"Oh, I've got to do maths now. Hang on."
All right, we've got to crack on.
right.
Rosie
Yes.
Caddick. I think I've heard quite a lot of your despicable stories over the years in various Tuesday checklists.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't mind hearing them again. But
I'm
maybe you've got a new one. Who knows?
Yeah.
Let's go. What have you got?
I've been trying to think, and I don't think I've said these two on the channel, and I don't think these two I've actually, visibly done on the channel. For example, the infallible or the infallible trophy in Fall Guys. Everyone saw me do that, and I don't think that's that. That was just a big community bonding moment. I think it was
Cheat.
epic.
Cheat.
Yeah, but it was great.
I respect it.
You got it. Respect the
It was
hustle.
amazing. The whole Australian server.
That was a great. There's
that was
nothing
a-
despicable about that at all.
That was just fantastic.
Yeah.
But one story I do have, I don't think I've said this, but when we had Ashley Millman doing her first Halloween week streams, I was first up to get the platinum for Resident Evil 2. And I was really powering through the game because I said to her, like, look, if you want me to try and do a platinum challenge for this week, I can do it, but I'm going to have to do like a big old session of just getting through loads of trophies. Like, all I did was do the first playthrough of it, and I was like, right, I need to get like this S ranks and all this. And I got everything done, but it was either the night before or or 2 nights before or something. But essentially I was like, I need to get in the position to be ready for this platinum stream now. And I had one trophy left before the one I wanted to do, and it was I think it's called Carbon Footprint, which is when you have to beat the game in under 14,000 steps. Yeah, under 14,000 steps. And I was there thinking, oh my God, this is going to be like a whole other playthrough. And when you've got like an evening, and I was like, one more playthrough is going to take up my evening. but I can't risk not getting the trophy. So I did the whole game without all the trophy list, without doing any infinite ammo stuff apart from carbon footprint, where I thought, you know what, I'm going to treat myself. I'm going to use the infinite rocket launcher. Or no, it was the infinite magnum. Either it was one of like the infinite weapons. So that was when... That's the only run I did in Resident Evil 2 Remake to get the platinum where I used the infinite ammo. I can't remember if I did it in the actual stream itself, but if it was just the handgun or something. But it was either way, it was like a strong weapon for infinite ammo.
Right.
And yeah, that's when I spent the evening. And in all honesty, I had a fun time. I was like, you know what? I've worked hard for this.
Yeah.
I deserve this little...
I love those playthroughs.
This
on
little
Resident Evil
infinite
games.
ammo tree. And I
They're
was
so much fun.
I was cautious of my footsteps and stuff. I think I never did it in the past because, you know, when I was doing all the speed runs, you know, there's moments where you're like waiting down a lift. Like I always had fun little songs like Leon just running around in circles being
That's
like
exactly it, yeah.
and
that trophy put me off getting the platinum in Resi 2 because the thought of counting all those steps was so stressful.
yeah, like that, you don't even think about it. And when I look it up online, people will say, oh, I got this one naturally. But I think because I also like just goofing around when I was just doing the game over and over and over again, you know, I was always like, like just jumping around, Leon doing a little shimmy and stuff like that.
If you're in a lift, you run in circles.
Yeah,
That's what you do.
I just, you know, just start doing, not even like, is it a full run? Leon's standing forward, then he just sort of like goes like a little like just spiral whilst facing in one direction, but it probably added up the steps. So that's like, but to me, considering I did like the whole game without like any of the infinite guns, and I was really chuffed with the fact that I was able to cram all this in the short amount of time. But I was like, no, I've got to do this to make sure that I'm ready for the show, ready for Ashley Millman. So that's when I was just like, you know what,
Ready for Ashley Millman.
Ready for Ashley Millman.
So this isn't a sin of sort of guilt in terms of like despicable behaviour. This is more of shame.
Yeah, kind of. It's more like, to me, it was. Yeah, to me, it was
a worthy sin. It's a worthy sin. I think,
it's something I've always looked back on, and I'm like, God, I should just do it again, like without the infinite ammo and stuff. But to me personally, I always look back on that. I'm like, God. Like, you know, I probably could have done it without the infinite ammo, but, you know, my justification is I deserved a little treat.
You deserved a little treat.
I deserved a little treat.
Yeah. Cut to Rosie laying in bed at night. Can't believe I used the infinite ammo.
Literally, I was like, you know, fully when I did it, I had the conflict of, I deserve a little treat and my pride.
Yeah, okay, all right.
Forever tainted.
That's the thing. But I'm here, like, I've mentioned it now. I don't think I've mentioned it before. And it's not the biggest thing, but to me at the time, it was fully a battle of just like, it's fine, I deserved a little treat and I was, you know, short on time compared to, I could have done it, but what if I didn't? My pride. So that's why to me it's been an internal battle.
I get it. And I mean, you're here now with us and that's what matters, Rosie. Is that you've come here and you've said, forgive me, Robert Pearson, for I have sinned.
I don't think this is a particularly bad sin.
It's not a bad one. I'm sorry.
You're just,
you're sweet.
You're just doing what you had to do to get the platinum trophy. There are quite a lot of trophies where, you know, if you're doing trophies that are just collect all these things, or you know, you whack it on easy mode and you just do it quickly and you hoover the stuff up. There's always the main playthrough to do it on the whatever difficulty feels most comfortable for you. And if the trophy allows it, then it's fine.
Yeah.
I agree.
If turning on cheats disables trophies, then obviously, but if it doesn't, then the designers have obviously felt that is a perfectly acceptable thing to do.
I worked hard for those infinite weapons.
Exactly.
Enjoy them.
You should use them. You should use them.
I don't think this is despicable at all. I'm giving this a 2.
Sorry, I did think really hard.
Poor Rosie.
You're just too
Bless
pure,
you.
Rosie.
Innocent. Too precious for this world, Rosie.
You're going to win, Rosie, because you're going to come out.
I know, literally, for the next story, I'm like, I did have one story. Now, like, listening to your guys, I'm thinking in my head, like, have I ever done something similar?
It
for like
doesn't
those...
matter if you haven't, Rosie. You're just not as horrible a person as we are. And that's good.
I thought I was like you, Rosie.
And then I played
Overcooked.
Amy, what do you reckon?
I'm going to give her a 2 as well, Rob. It's not that bad. It's not bad at all. No.
Alex, how about you? As someone who must have done various things like this to get one of your many hundreds of platinums over the years.
Yep. It's a 1 from me.
A 1.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a perfectly
Alex
valid way to
knows
play
a
the
bad
game.
thing when he sees a bad thing, and it's not.
Sorry,
bad.
Rosie.
I don't think like where was me? Like I said, I was in bed, fully struggling in my brain.
Just
like,
not worry.
I know, but my pride, Alex.
I love it though. I love the passion. You know, people who aren't gamers probably lay in bed thinking, "Oh, have I put the bins out?" We're there, like, did I use the infinite ammo when I shouldn't have
rocket
done?
launch on that 14,000 steps traffic.
How will I live with myself?
How can I accept this platinum?
5 points in total, Rosie.
Well done, Rosie.
For that story.
A beautiful, precious
you
angel.
pure, innocent person.
Weak story.
Loser.
Right, okay. I'm going to do my first story now. And I do apologise because I have told this story loads of times before. But maybe there are some people listening to this podcast who haven't heard this story. And I remember when I first told this story, thinking it was just funny. And
No one laughed.
and nobody laughed. There was just like a slightly ominous silence. And it's the story of what I used to think was quite a fun way to play Grand Theft Auto San Andreas.
Oh, here we go.
So, you know, that these games are just built for mucking around, right? I maintain NPCs in games like GTA and Skyrim, they're made to be humorously disposed of. Like the ragdoll physics, the funny noises they make, it's just funny.
Yeah.
Like there's a catharsis about it, it's funny. And so I liked to just get a little bit creative with it. And so you can drive a taxi around it in GTA San Andreas. And when you do that, you can I think you press R3 and it switches to taxi mode. So you can go and pick up fares, you can earn yourself a little bit of money, and you can just have other fun, which I did. So I took my taxi to the pay and spray. I think that's what it's called, where you can customize the color of whatever car you have. And I spray painted this taxi pink, and I came up with like a fictitious taxi company in my head called 50/50 Cabs. And the way it went was, my sister would be playing with me, so she was in charge of picking the people I had to pick up in the taxi.
Pick up.
So you'd just be cruising around, and there'd be various people like taxi, and my sister would be like, nope, not that one. Just like, okay, you're just driving around, and eventually, yes, them. So you pull up, they get in the back of the taxi, and the thing is, the 50/50ness of it was that I'd flip a coin, and if it was heads, I would take them so perfectly to where they wanted to go, to the extent where I would stop at red lights. I would drive beautifully smoothly. I wouldn't bump into anything. It'd be the most perfect taxi ride. And they would get out and they would leave a great review, presumably, on whatever the...
Did you get a tip at all?
50/50 app.
Yeah. Leave us a review.
taxis.
5 stars. Thank you. But if the coin was tails... I didn't do that. I used to drive off into the hills above Los Santos, so like where the Hollywood sign is, the sort of
Vinewood
yeah,
sign.
the quiet rolling hills overlooking the city. And by the time we got there, my fare was always really annoyed because they were like, "Well, this isn't anywhere near where I want to go," and I'd be driving recklessly, you know, speeding, bashing into things, crashing into other cars, although trying not to damage my lovely pink taxi too much.
I forgot it was bright pink.
And so
Why is it pink?
we'd get
It's like
there,
Barbie as a serial killer.
we'd get out, and I'd, you know, pull up in the middle of nowhere, we'd get out, and I used to find this really funny. They'd get out the taxi really annoyed, and they have like a little NPC line was like, "Where the heck am I, man? This is like miles away." And even though it was PS2 and the graphics weren't particularly sophisticated, I swear you could see like an annoyance in their face as they like strode off. So what I would do was, I had like a little photo album. I used the in-game camera. You take a photo of them I had like a photo album of annoyed looking NPCs getting out of the pink taxi, and the next photo would just be them murdered on the floor.
Oh God.
After I'd killed them with my chainsaw.
Was it like as in?
Yeah, the chainsaw. You put in the cheat code for the chainsaw. The chainsaw is fun.
Was it like of like the front camera or a selfie, like with the what kind of?
No, I think there was only the basic camera in San Andreas,
yeah.
so I don't think you could do.
Oh yeah, no,
selfies.
you wouldn't have had selfies at that point.
So it's just a photo of them getting out the taxi, and then a photo of them dead on the floor.
Wow.
And this photo album was obviously, you know, quite morbid. But I thought it was funny. And when I got my first job on Access, we worked in an office where I think for a separate video, people were asking like, what are some fun, creative ways that you've played GTA in the past? We're doing like a compilation video, and I quite excitedly. Fresh
Let
in
me
my
tell
career.
you about the pink taxi.
Oh, this will be fun. This is the kind of thing they'll love this.
taxi.
And I sent the email, and you just could hear like a wave of, what the? going around the office. And
Why have we hired this guy?
It was the first time that I thought that it could be anything other than just a funny, fun thing. So yeah, the 50-50 pink cab of death from GTA
Wow.
San Andreas. Everyone else in that office would have gone down just like, running people over, the classic GTA stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
It was just I had a bit of imagination with it.
I think that's what it is. I think it's the contemplation. It's the kind of sadistic planning, and the
I think it's the way that you made a game out of it
as well. It's like, will this person be destined to die in the mountains?
It's like this
Or
feels-
will they make it to the mart down the
crucially,
road?
those people who got tails would never obviously be able to leave a review. So all the reviews for 50-50 cabs and all. Great
50-50
taxi
is
company.
glowing reputation.
This does sound like something that would be on like a Netflix crime documentary.
It sounds like the plot of like a Luther episode,
yeah,
doesn't
exactly.
it? You know,
like they
it
made
is
a game out of
mad.
this, and the victims had a 50% chance.
God, that is
Like
so
a case in
sadistic.
LA Noire, the pink taxi killer or something.
Yeah.
You couldn't you?
I'm like
Yeah.
Thanos, but
Yeah.
just with a pink taxi instead of a gauntlet that he clicks.
It's just a chainsaw.
There was a brief moment in that story when Rob got towards the end when he was talking about the annoyance on their face as they strode off. And I thought for a minute, we just took a picture of them a bit hacked off that they hadn't been taken to the beach. And he just let them go. And then he very quickly followed it with, and the next one was their body on the floor. And I was like, oh, never mind.
It's pretty bad. This.
Very nearly
This
had a
is
happy
bad.
ending. Yeah, I'm going to give that a solid, I don't know, I think it's a 9.
Oh, come on.
I think that's a 9. I would go for a 10, but I'm like,
I'm
that's
not
gotta
ruining
be...
any real people's day here,
Well,
Amy.
no, I know. I mean, you ruined real people's lives, I suppose.
Whoa,
but
whoa, whoa,
in a
whoa,
very
whoa.
small...
Ruined?
I just feel like it's the
Ruin their lives.
it's the sadistic, twisted
Yeah.
nature
Yeah.
of it.
The
It's the way
demented
he's thought
methodology
it out.
of it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. If you just run over somebody
bad.
in San Andreas, it's fine. If you just
And
devise a
Speaking of someone
method-
that I got the platinum for the definitive edition a few months ago, and I at no point felt the need to do anything like this. So this for
You
me
should
is
try it.
bad. It's pretty bad.
Just try it.
I don't know, man. It's
beautifully sinister.
this feels bad.
There's
I
a
was
true crime
thinking-
podcast waiting to happen.
Yeah.
Go on, Deb. What are the scores?
I
What
was
have we got?
thinking probably I'd give it an 8 just because you haven't affected real life people with it. If anything, the other real life person was also in on the game of go on, pick them. But in terms of video game diabolicalism, that's why I'm thinking an 8.
I've got to give it a 9 just for how unsettling it is to be sat next to him when he tells this story.
Yeah, I think I would go with an 8 as well. Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah,
I've heard the story before, but just hearing it again, it's
I actually haven't heard that one.
frightening.
Shockingly, I've heard so many of Rob's. I thought I would, but
Pink
that's a
Taxi.
new one on me. Pink Taxi 50-50.
I wonder if there is a real taxi company called 50-50 Taxi.
If
I
ever
bet
see
there
them-
is.
Oh, if we ever see that on our travels.
Why would they?
Oh.
Why would you call your taxi company that?
50-50.
There's a bad connotations, right?
The slogan is, we'll get you there half the time.
Maybe it's like
See?
a postcode somewhere, like 5050 or something. I don't know.
Oh,
But-
maybe.
wow.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, if that is the case, then I am sorry. to the
They're
real
getting,
life
they're getting
50-50
really good
cabs.
reviews. It's fine.
Okay, well that's 25 out of 30 for that story. I think my next story is worse.
Oh,
blimey.
Anyway,
who's
so
next?
we're back to you now, Alex, for
Oh,
story number 2.
Okay, so yes, this is again about acquiring a platinum trophy through slightly underhand means. For a long time, I found I was really enjoying playing through Sackboy: A Big Adventure, and it's notorious for being a really really fun game where a lot of the trophies they sort of roll in quite naturally and nothing feels too difficult or challenging. It's a really really fun game, but then the Rip Snorter happens. So the Rip Snorter, there are these sort of challenge levels called the Knitted Night Trials, and there's 15 of them, and they're a challenge on their own. But the Rip Snorter puts all 15 of them together, so you have to do them all in one go, and you have to get a gold time on this Rip Snorter level to get the String It Together
I was going to say, String It
trophy.
Together is that famous trophy
Yep.
that is so hard for the game because don't you have to do it without dying?
Well, you can take damage once, but that's it, basically.
Right,
So
you
you
got
have
to
to
stack
near
them all together
perfect.
like that.
And yeah, it's a notorious trophy for this having it's like a huge difficulty spike really for people going after the platinum.
Yeah.
Is this the one you did on the live stream, Rosie?
Yeah, the one when I had my noodles on
beef
stream.
noodles one.
Yeah, the beef
Yeah.
noodles.
Noodle stream.
And
Thanks, Nico, for providing me beef noodles at the front door.
That's what I needed. How long did it take you on the stream?
I went into overtime, so I think we started at probably 4, and I was streaming until probably around just gone 7 because I had my dinner. So yeah,
Well,
it
that's pretty good going. I think I had a few goes at it, and I was just like, this is impossible. I had some runs where I thought, this is great. This feels really good. Not taking any damage yet. We're getting into a bit that I feel a bit more comfortable with. And then I do something stupid and die. And it just sort of, it requires you to be so perfect for, I mean, a normal run must take, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes? I don't know. But
the thing is as well, the time itself is like no more than 10 minutes.
Yeah. So you have to move at pace, and these are challenging platforming levels. Anyway, I ended up searching for tips and tricks, Googling, is there a way to make Rip Snore a bit easier? Are there shortcuts? Is there something I'm missing here? I was getting pretty desperate. I ended up going onto the Sackboy Reddit, and there were loads of people on there asking for help, as in summon someone into their co-op party, and they will just do the challenge for you.
Oh, so it's like let me solo her for
exactly.
Sackboy.
And I
let me do the knitted knot for you.
And I was just like, maybe I could I stoop this low for a platinum trophy, literally getting someone else to do an entire difficult challenge for me? Yes, I can, I will. I went straight in their message and said, if anyone wants to, on my burner account, obviously, if anyone wants to just help, please. And a guy called Cookie Monster almost instantly got back to me and said, yeah, hop on right now. Added him, got into a party. I followed Cookie Monster's instructions to the letter. He basically just told me to kill myself at the start of the level. And then I got to watch him. His run on the level is amazing. Like they were doing jumps and tricks and shortcuts I didn't even know were possible in the game. The sort of really advanced stuff he was doing. And yeah, he absolutely blasted through it in one go, and he set an incredible time as well. I think I've got something like the 300th best time in the world. But
well, you haven't.
But
Cookie Monster.
This is it. It says me, Dude Youngie, which is my PSN name. That's what it's. I'm there, and I felt really bad. I was getting messages because it pops up in notifications. Obviously, it says, "Oh, bloody blah, beaten your time in this challenge," which is really, really cool. But I was getting messages from community members soon after saying like, "How have you got such a good time? How have you done that?"
Yeah.
And I was just like, just practice, guys. Just got to keep practicing. Just practice.
Actually, I think this is the best confession so far because I know how much it's taken for him to come here.
I'm telling it
and
now.
admit this to the general public.
So he's not even admitted to the community members. He's just sat there
Yeah.
and
Like,
taken the praise.
And,
You're a phony.
Well, we've spoken about this as well because after the stream we were chatting about the stream I did, we were chatting about it, and I remember you said that you cheesed it, but you never told me. I think how
This isn't
you did
cheesing
it.
it, Alex.
This isn't
cheesing.
I think you
Cheesing's a
remember you
different
were
thing.
like,
is exploiting a weakness.
Yeah.
You paid a guy to do it, basically.
I
You
didn't
didn't
pay.
pay him.
Me and Cookie Monster go way back. You know.
Yeah.
No.
have you spoken
favour.
to them since? Have you ever played a game with them since?
No, we're still friends, and I'll be like, maybe you'll help me with something else in future if I get stuck on something.
using them
Deploy the
now.
Cookie Monster. So yeah, I feel like I deserve some credit for figuring out a way to get the platinum without doing
Going
the thing.
online and searching help, please.
Yeah.
But maybe the
literally
lying to
found
community
Basically
members.
done
You
the Sackboy
killed yourself.
version of just phoning 999.
I think my first one's worse. This is fine.
You killed yourself at the start of the level and just watched someone do it for you.
Honestly, it was
and then
amazing.
took all the credit.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I'll have to
This
check my
is
ranking.
this is juicy, Alex.
This is
Yeah,
So
this is-
your first story. There are other people impacted by it. Like
Yes.
you've annoyed your friend, you've annoyed your wife
Yep.
for something that you didn't really need to do.
Well.
There's deception going on here, and also I say this is not a legitimate platinum trophy.
Whoa.
You
That's-
have not earned it.
Steady on.
You have not earned this
No,
trophy,
you
Alex.
It's in the cabinet. What can I say? It's there.
But you didn't put any input in at all. Physically input. You
I mean,
didn't.
this is not the type of person I thought you were. I thought Rosie wouldn't do this. Rosie's there losing sleep at night over just using infinite rocket launchers.
Which she earned with
Which
her
she
own
did.
ability.
I slept very well that evening.
I bet you did.
Alex Young.
What do you want me to do?
This is great.
Honestly, that's
Oh my
that
God.
is low. That is low.
I feel bad about the misleading community members thing. So they know now.
Well, they know
Can
now,
you look
don't they?
down the barrel and apologise to everyone
look at
that
straight
you
in
have
this
told
camera, in
that
this
you
camera
got
here.
Sackboy
I
Platinum
will not
to?
be
Go on.
I will not be apologising.
He's not sorry. He's not sorry.
sorry.
And that's why.
I'm sorry that he's not apologising, community members who
Instant
he's
10
misled.
I
for the
regret
lack of
nothing.
apology.
I
Instant
think
10.
I'd do
This
it again. I'd do it again.
I know you would as well, and that's for me.
Hang
This
on,
is.
how many other of your platinum?
No,
we can't
don't
trust
go
anything
down.
you say
Don't
now.
go down this road. Don't go down this road.
Oh, that's like a podcast episode in itself.
No.
How
let's
many
not-
of Alex's platinums are legit?
No, let's not.
This
do
is a 9 for me.
This has blown my
That's
mind.
a 9.
He's a fraud.
No. Let's not get carried away.
No, you're a phony.
Amy and Rosie, I'm going 9 out of 10 for this. What about you?
See, my instinctive response is a 10. Like,
Yeah,
Rosie's
yeah, yeah.
purely
Honestly.
because
It's
like
worse
it.
than the pink taxi of
50-50.
death. That's right.
Rob's been murdering people in the hills, but you.
It's not as bad as the taxi story.
Well, I will just-
no one's being hurt or deceived in the
No,
taxi
no.
story is just a bit of video game fun.
This is
Just because I have
fun.
more imagination than other people, I should be penalised for that.
I think it's the way that you literally just died at the beginning. Like
Yeah.
you didn't even, you
It
didn't
wasn't
even
even
run
like you
alongside
asked him,
Cookie
you
Monster.
didn't even do it
Monster
with him.
told me to die, so
Yes.
I did as I was told.
Or like, even like if they gave you some tips and you gave it a go, literally they hopped in,
Can't
you
believe
died
this.
at the start of the race. And maybe it's personal
I
for
think-
me as well because I were like into big overtime to get this trophy and
Yeah,
stuff.
right. Do you know what?
Like,
Rosie actually has this trophy. Wow.
Gotta
Yeah.
play smarter, not harder. Now what can I say?
Wow.
I mean, I agree with that.
One day the Cookie
but
Monster's going to
this-
come out
yeah.
and be like, these
So,
are all the people who have this trophy.
I need some
legitimately.
numbers. I need some numbers. Amy and Rosie,
Yes.
what are we going for?
I'm going to go for a 10 as well.
yeah, I think my distinct nature was saying 10, so I'm sticking with what my brain originally said.
Well, this is going to be hard to beat. That's 29
Yeah,
out
that
of
was-
30.
It's ridiculous.
That was a good,
is.
despicable story.
That really
It's
is.
not- I didn't even think that one was that bad, really.
That really is.
Okay, fine.
We did.
Yeah, we did.
Amy, have you got anything that's going to top that?
No, not at all. Not at all. I'm shooketh. I'm absolutely shooketh. I don't think I can. I don't know this man. I really don't know who he is anymore.
Who's sat next to me right now?
Man of mystery.
He's my desk buddy, and I don't even know him. Who is he? This one's more of a Rosie one in that it's more about the shame of the fact that I cheesed in such an extravagant way. So this is about the ending of Beyond Good and Evil, which I'm not going to spoil. Do not worry. I mean, I suppose I will spoil it a teeny bit, but not with context of story or details or anything like that. But if you do desperately not want to know the ending of Beyond Good and Evil, just whiz it forward a little bit. But the final boss has a mechanic where in the final stages of the fight, it reverses the control scheme. So left is suddenly right, right is suddenly left. The analog stick, whichever way you push Jade, she'll run the other way. And it's designed, I imagine, because it's the final boss, to tap into the, exceptional muscle memory and coordination that you've built up for the character over the time that you've been playing Beyond Good and Evil. So you're supposed to be good enough at that point that when he uses the move that messes up your brain and all the controls get inverted, to just kind of go, right, cool, I know that it's going to attack from the left. The creature attacks from different directions. You know it's going to be the left, so you press right. You know it's going to be the right, so you press left. You're supposed to figure this out on your own. And you do, obviously, you know exactly what to do, but the coordination just wasn't there for me. And I was about 11 years old, and I really couldn't do this boss. I spent ages trying to do this boss. Every time he inverted the controls, my mind melted, and I couldn't do it. I physically couldn't
Just
do
turn
it.
the controller upside down.
I don't... It's funny you say that. So I tried for ages to do it legitimately, and this is like my favourite game, of all time. So it wounds
You got
me
tattoos,
deeply.
yeah.
I have a tattoo of it. It wounds me deeply that I did this, but yeah, after trying and trying again and again, asking my brother to help me, my little brother as well. That was equally sore. That was a wound, salt in the wound. None of us could do it, and I did indeed turn the PlayStation 2 controller upside down.
I love it. That's clever, though. That's smart.
I think that's smart.
And
Yeah.
I played upside down and I finished it that way.
I was
Good on you,
literally
Amy.
thinking before Alex even said it, I was like, what if you just turned your controller upside down? Like, would that have helped?
But I don't think that was what the developers were probably intending when they made it. But I was like, well, it's the only way I'm going to do it. So I did. And I've often thought to myself, could I go back and try again as a, 20 years on, could I try and see if I've just got the brain capacity now to do the coordination of like inverted controls? But I've got to do it again for the remaster.
Yeah.
So will I just be able to turn the PS5? It's even easier to flip it now. The cable doesn't get in the way.
Could you not even just go into the menu and invert both the X and the Y axis?
Pause it at that exact moment of the boss fight, invert them. I mean, maybe. But it was one that I feel a bit of shame for. It's not a massive video game sin. It's certainly not as truth-shattering as Alex's. But yeah, it's one that I definitely think, I feel a bit sore that I couldn't actually beat the boss.
That's what I mean. I get
the
what
way
you
it
like.
was intended.
I rate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just had to flip the controller because there was no way I was gonna be able to do and it's super quick as well. Like it's almost like playing Dance Mat, but like the actions you have to put in are so quick, but you're having to invert them in your head. So you're having to do like left for right, right for left, but so fast.
That's tough, yeah.
So I didn't.
That sounds difficult. That sounds like a difficult thing to pull on you right at the end after you've gotten used to, as you say, you've built up the muscle memory.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, actually, you haven't.
You haven't. Now we're going to switch it round
now
completely.
You've got to do something that feels completely different. So I don't think that's.
I would love to know if anybody
despicable.
else has done it without turning the controller upside down. There must be people out there who've done it, but I do feel a teensy bit of shame for that. So probably not the worst thing. What do you guys say? How do you judge me? How do I plead?
The thing is, I like, hearing the story, I'm like, this is like the same score as mine, but I completely get the personal when you're just like, like you say, you're like, I have to do it again now and do it without that. So I was getting like scores of 2, and this is what is all I'm feeling like, for you personally, I'm like, oh no, to you it's like much higher, but I'm also just like, no, this sounds like a 2.
Okay.
Like a 2, like...
I'm repenting.
Maybe even
Rosie.
a 1. I'd maybe even say like a 1.
What are you going with, Rosie?
Have the lowest score.
I'll tell you what, just everyone gave me a 2, and I think this is the same level, so I'd say 2.
Alex
Fair
gave you a
dues.
1.
Oh, did Alex give me a 1?
Yeah. I've written 2 down now, Rosie. I don't think this is bad at all, Amy, and I do think it's on a par with Rosie's infinite ammo thing, so I'm also going to give you a 2.
Great. That also means a lot because that's a bit of redemption for me being a penne pincher.
I mean, that one was bad. Yeah, that one was bad. What about you, Alex? What say you?
It's a 1 from me. It's a legit strat. I respect it.
Yeah,
Thinking outside the box.
The fact that you said it straight away makes me feel better.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, we all know now that you'd stoop even lower than that, so...
People are getting very carried away.
Right, so... Amy, that's a total of 5 points for story number 2.
Just to be clear, I did do the boss, though. Cookie Monster didn't. My controller was the wrong way up, but I did do the boss.
Who knows? Cookie Monster's out there somewhere. Taking on the most difficult challenges.
I love him.
A brave hero.
Oh, Cookie Monster.
Wow.
All
So
right.
just interestingly, both of Alex's stories combined give him 52 points.
Yeah, you're in the lead, man.
Amy, yours combined give you 26, which means Alex is exactly twice as despicable as you.
It's the yin and yang that balances.
Rosie.
Yes.
What can you do? I mean, there's no way you can ever, mathematically impossible for you to be as despicable as Alex now. But I wonder if you can beat your first story with your second.
I think this one beat my story, and I was reminded about it actually with your Sackboy story, because I have another one with Sackboy Big Adventure. Where
Well.
There you go.
So,
I had a guy called Cookie Monster.
We love you, Cookie Monster.
So I was just chilling at home at one point, and then I saw at Twitch that my brother went live on his Twitch channel, Kadikarus, and I saw that he was playing the Sackboy time trials, and I thought, oh, this will be fun to watch and stuff. So I put it on, and I saw he was doing the trials, and he's like really good at platformers. Like he's a king of Crash Bandicoot, and he's just, so it's always really interesting to see him doing these platforming challenges. And Nico, my boyfriend, and I, we were there thinking, like, I don't know why, we were just like, oh, what if we just messed? What if we just did something being like a rapscallion attitude? So the time trial that he was doing, because you're right, Alex, it gives you like the Astros Playroom runs. When you beat a time, you get a notification saying like so and so's beating your time. So I think it was on the first stage we saw the time that he got, and it was a brilliant run. But then Nico and I thought we would trick him by doing that same course, but doing it multiplayer, co-op. And if you do it co-op, then you can do it so that like one person can charge forward, and then like I can't remember how it was we did it, but essentially we were able to do the time a lot quicker with the two of us rather than just one person doing it solo. So we did that, and then live on stream my brother got the notification pop up saying like
Your little sister has
love
beaten
that.
your
Rosie
time.
the
Right.
Smurf has this new time. And then, of course, his whole stream went from doing the challenges, and then he was just like, I've got to beat that time.
Yeah.
And I was in the chat as well, and I was, riling him up. Not riling, but I was being like, oh, look, I've just got this really good time. And
big
then,
brother sister energy.
and
I love it.
I don't know why, I was just feeling like being annoying. And and then I was messaging as well, being like, I can give you a hint if you need any tips and stuff. And he was like, no, like, don't tell me anything. I'm going to do it. And he did it again and again. And he was at the point where he was saying like, I don't know how I'm going to beat this time. Like, how did you physically do this time? And then, to his absolute credit, he did it. He was able to beat the time that Nico and I got co-op. He just absolutely smashed it. And I said to him afterwards, I was just like, yeah, we did it in co-op. And then he was just like, you did it in co-op. But then he felt great because he was like, well, I just beat your co-op time solo. So
if anything, you gave him an added. You could have just kept the lie and been like, "Oh, well done, mate. You really tried."
No, I was
But
honest.
you actually went, "No, you know what? You beat that, and it's blooming hard."
The thing, it got to the point where he was so determined to do it that when I was saying, do you want a hint or do you want me to tell you what I did? I
Yeah.
just wanted to tell him at that point. But he was still like, no, I'm going to do this. I'm going to beat your time. So I didn't even get a chance to tell him until he actually beat the time. So even then I felt guilty in myself, like, oh, he's still going. Like,
this. This is a really good story.
he's still doing it. So it was like it was a good old annoying prank. And looking back on it, if anything, I'm just so happy that he did beat my time, because that was just, I felt really chuffed. I was like, you did it and stuff as well. But I will never forget just the feeling of Nico and I being like, oh, should we wind him up? should we pull a little prank? And then that's why we just immediately installed it just for reinstalled it just for the purpose of doing that.
I think this podcast should be called "Rosie's Too Pure for This World." I really do.
I think that's good. There's elements of dastardliness in there for sure.
I just love that you told him.
There's
I
a
wouldn't have
little
told him. There are still things my little brother doesn't know.
Sibling rivalry going on, but also you did it knowing he was live.
Yeah.
In front of his community, and you knew what would happen. You knew that would goad him into wanting to beat it.
Yeah.
So there was like a deliberate planning of I'm going to annoy my brother live.
I didn't think he was going to go so determined that he would not carry on until he beat the time.
Rose,
but
You did. You threw down that gauntlet.
You knew exactly what you were doing.
He's a caddick. You knew he couldn't resist. He couldn't resist. I love it.
It's a
That's
great
great
story.
That's a
Yeah,
good
it's
story.
brilliant.
I think there's like a wholesomeness to it as well, though, like a wholesome sibling rivalry thing going on. So I think it's a little bit dastardly. I'm going to give this a 6.
higher than my last story.
Higher than your last story, but not totally evil.
No.
No. Alex and Amy, what do you think?
I'm going to go with a 4.
Oh, you're.
I think, I like the seizing the opportunity, and quickly coming up with a way to sort of try to sabotage. I quite like that. Yeah, it's good.
I'm going to go with a 5, just between the two, because I do agree. I feel like I like the dastardliness, the mischievousness of it's my brother. I'm going to show him up in front of his audience and throw down a gauntlet, and you knew he'd rise. But also, I just love Rosie in general. I think she's just wonderful. I genuinely, I would not have been able to have come clean. I just think you're an absolute angel for doing it. I would have been like, I did it solo. I forgot to tell you, I had one hand tied behind my back. Sorry about that. I didn't drop that in there.
Yeah. The fact that you felt good when he did it.
Yes, that's what I mean.
Any evil person, Rosie, would have been like, no, he's done it. You'd want him to fail.
It's the wholesomeness of you being like, I was so proud of him after I wound him up.
He overcame it. He overcame
He
my
is the
fun
platforming
prank.
king.
Yeah, nice one.
Wow. Rosie, I can confirm that you are officially the least despicable member of the team by quite some margin.
Oh.
In total, you have 20 points. 20 despicable points.
Okay.
Amy has 26.
Okay.
Alex has 52. Right.
All right, Rob, come on. You can challenge for the crown.
So, I'm a bit, I think this is worse than my previous story, but I didn't think my previous story was as bad as you guys thought it was. So, continuing with the sibling rivalry theme here, I've talked quite a lot on the channel about how I used to play games with my sister. We used to watch each other playing games, but we would also have some, horrible arguments and confrontations about video games. And one of the early games we played on PS1 was Crash Bandicoot Warped. It's one of the first games we got on our PS1. And we were both playing through the game. We had separate saves. So we only had one PlayStation, but we each had our own memory card. So we'd each slot our own memory card in when it was our turn to play the game. And I'd finished the game by this stage. As in, I'd beaten Cortex. I didn't have all the gems and everything. I was never that good. But my sister was really struggling on the engine boss fight. And I wasn't being particularly nice about it. I was sort of like laughing in the... Actually, I think this is one of the easier ones, actually. I know it's got loads of health, but actually it's not that hard if you just... And she was getting very frustrated about it. We both share similar temperament when it comes to how angry we get when video games beat us. So she was raging and I was laughing and just like poking the bear. And it got to the point where I was like, do you want me to show... I will show you a way to do this. I will show you to do it. I'll beat the fight for you. But you're not allowed to then save the game. You have to then reload and do it yourself. I'm just going to show you. I'm just going to show you how to do it, okay? I'm just going to show you. She was like, fine, here's the controller.
Because she wouldn't have wanted you to do it, right? Surely.
So I took the controller and I beat Engine. I handed the controller back to her. And she immediately started running for that save screen. And I was like, no!
That wasn't the agreement.
This was before school as well. So that, we had our school uniform and we were ready to go to school. My mum was in the other room like, are you two ready to go? We need to go now. And I was like, Mum, she's saving the game. I told her she couldn't save the game if I beat this thing for her. And she was like, no, I'm saving it. And I was like, you're not doing this. Sort of ran across the room. And, the PlayStation makes it very clear that you are not to turn the power off when the game is saving. No. And I was like, you're not doing this. I told you no. Boom, hit the power button mid-save.
I could have corrupted everything.
It wiped out not just her Crash Bandicoot save, but also her 25 hours into Final Fantasy VII save. And every single save on that memory card was wiped, was gone, was corrupted. And... the shouting match that happened after it was just one for the ages. My mum was absolutely livid. She's like, I'm just trying to get you both to school. Get in the car. And we had to go in the car together.
And then you have to do a full day of school as well, knowing that this has happened.
I was like, I've done nothing wrong. I've done nothing wrong.
Well, your memory card was intact.
My memory card was fine. Looking back on it, it's probably an immature response of me to just if she wants to save it, then that's her problem. She's got to have to live with the knowledge that she hasn't fully completed Crash Warped because I beat Engine for her. I shouldn't have done it. It was a bad thing to do, and I destroyed not just her Crash game, but also many other games she had, including Final Fantasy VII, which she was playing through, which I think is worse than the GTA stuff.
It does. It's real life.
You know, no one really gets affected by the GTA stuff. It's just fun in the game. Whereas this, it was multiple hours of gaming that I deleted off my sister's memory card.
Has she spoken to you since? Because I don't think I would have spoken to my brother for a long time if that had happened. Wow.
So it's an interesting one because it feels like you didn't deliberately delete the save.
Oh, you didn't intend to do all that.
It was like, you are not having this save.
Yeah.
You are not having this save.
But had you had the choice, you wouldn't have chosen to have wiped it. That was accidental.
I think
there was an agreement.
There was enough fury in me at that moment that I probably would have still done it. Had I known this is going to delete everything on this, I was like, well, you deserve it. I told you I was just going to show you how it was done.
I find it so weird because I don't know about you guys, I'm so stubborn that I will not let anyone do it for me. I couldn't have saved after that. He showed me how to do it, and if I had been Rob's sister, I'd have been like, cool. I once pulled the plug out of the PlayStation 4 because one of my friends was going to do Black Dragon Calamite on Dark Souls, and I wanted to do it, and he was getting really close to doing it, and I refused to let him. So I yanked the control.
Where was this story, Amy?
Yeah, but this only affects me. It was my save. He was going to try and do it to see if he could, and he literally got very far and kind of went, I'm about to kill it for you, and I went, not on my watch.
No, I understand that. No,
it's
I
pride.
understand that.
It's just pride. But that is quite rough.
I'd have done exactly what Rob's sister did. I'd have been sprinting for that save.
Well, yeah, it's
when I was a child, I would have just been like, "Oh, thank you for your help," like because I did have it, like I mentioned before in the Bosses podcast, where I was really stuck on Tiny Tiger, but I still played the rest of the whole game. I was absolutely fine. So I would have just been like, "Oh, thank you so much for being the boss for me," and then I could enjoy the rest of the game. But if we did have the rule of don't save, this is just, I don't think either my brother or myself would then go to turn off the PlayStation mid-save. I think it definitely would have been like a shouty rage.
We're definitely meaner people than you, Rosie, for sure.
It definitely would have been like a shouty rage, or maybe a temptation to overwrite, but not to physically run mid-save and then corrupt the whole memory card. Like that's the thing. I think
the way he does it in my head is when a cat's being a little nuisance, so and so, and they go bap with their paw. That's kind of the way that I'm seeing Rob doing it.
Right, we need some scores.
10.
Oh, cut.
It's a massive 10 from me. You corrupted everything she never played.
I think,
yeah.
I think if it was just the Crash Bandicoot save, I think if it was just the Crash save, it would have been a 9, but you corrupted everything, so I think that's what makes it a 10.
Yeah, it's despicable.
Because at first I was the deal was that she wasn't allowed to save, but it wasn't that you could have even just overwritten her save with a whole new save, and then nothing would have been corrupted. You could have literally just gone, fine, start new game, save over it, but you corrupted so many other games on that memory card. I think that's what makes
She's
it the
never
10.
getting them 25 hours of Final Fantasy 7 back.
No, she did. She then played it again and finished it.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway.
Well,
Alex, what say you?
It's a tricky one, after all the stories that have been shared. I think compared to the very specific, dedicated methodology of the taxi story, where there's a very clear focus here, this feels like it's more of those, one of the sort of everyone getting swept up in the moment, and it's really your sister should have stuck to the agreement. It's her that's sort of done the from your perspective. I'm seeing it from your perspective, really. I'm with you. So I don't know if this is a 10 for me. I think this has to be an 8. It's bad, and any sort of save data being lost or corrupted is always a terrible thing, especially if someone else is involved, of course, or they've tampered with it. But I feel like there's just being a victim of unfortunate circumstance,
Yeah, and I do think she should not have, because like I say, I don't think I could have saved out of pride. So I do think there's an element of me, actually, although I do think it's awful, the result that happened. And Rob didn't intend that. I do think, she kind of set herself up there because she ran for that save. And they were on the way to school.
And then Rob ran for the power button.
They didn't even have time to talk it out. Mum's downstairs going, "Come on, Robert."
Right. Well, there we go then. The scores are in.
Oh, is it Rob or Alex?
So I can reveal that this is interesting. So the least despicable story, there's a tie. So it's Rosie's unlimited ammo doing the 14,000 steps Rosie trophy, and also your not very evil story as well, Amy, which also gets you a 5. That's a joint 5 for least
joint
despicable.
5.
Least despicable stories.
The fact that all we're worried about is whether we used a cheat or turned the controller upside down. And Alex has literally got some man doing it.
Not worried about that.
Yeah.
But the least despicable person, when you add the points of both stories combined, is Rosie with 20 despicable points. Amy has 26 despicable points. Then we come to very interesting numbers at the top here. So the single most despicable story with 29 points is Alex getting Cookie Monster to do the knitted night trial for him.
Honestly, that's awful.
It's just smart. I don't even think it's that bad.
29 points for that story.
29 points.
My corrupting of my sister's save is a 28 pointer. But overall, the most despicable person is me by 1 point. Alex has 52 points. Alex has 52 points, but has the single most despicable story, and I have a total of 53 points from both of mine together.
Man, I was thinking of the 9 or the 10 for your memory card, but it was the fact that the memory card took every save. That's what made it the 10. Like,
now I look back, I was a bit harsh with that. I do think the sister had something to, she did make her own bed there a little bit.
Neither of us are coming out of that story
looking
glowing.
great.
No, and I definitely come out of it the worst. It was one of many horrible things I used to do. Like I did, I would take her Tomb Raider save and save it jumping through the air over some spikes. So whenever she load it back up, Lara Croft is like, oh, it's fun. Sibling rivalry is really fun.
Sibling rivalry is great.
But that is all we have time for, unfortunately. I've really enjoyed this.
Yeah, it's been
and
really
I've
fun.
learnt some things about you all that I have shocked me. In particular, you, Alex.
It's not that bad.
Shout outs to
it is.
Cookie Monster.
Yeah,
We love
shout
you.
out to Cookie Monster.
Thanks for all the work on his platinums, Cookie
Fight the good
Monster.
fight, man.
Thanks for...
DM us and tell us how many you've actually done for him.
Yes, well, please do leave us a comment. If you're watching this on YouTube, leave us a comment. Tell us your own despicable stories, and maybe we'll be in the comments and we'll leave our scores for them. We'll see who can come up with the most despicable story. Otherwise, please stay tuned to the channel. We've got loads more stuff coming up. Thanks for watching, and we will be back in another 2 weeks' time with another episode of the PlayStation Access podcast. Thanks for listening. Goodbye.
Bye.
See ya.
PlayStation